be here.
Yeah, no, it's dude, it worked out. And you said it's gonna be Saturday, and I was like, well, dang, I won't be back. And then you were like, but it's at 5 p.m. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, we can leave early and make this happen. We can make this happen. Carly is still asleep right now from we left early to get back today. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
Jacob, it's pretty late for you, right? Like it's probably like what, closer to 10 o'clock for you?
Yeah, it's close to 10 o'clock. I'll do this and then go to bed. So, but
Dude.
I was like doing stuff with my family in the day, so I was like, we could just slot in at the end of the day for me. It'd be good.
No, dude, it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly. Though I was, because usually I am like a night owl, or I like stay up late and then wake up late. But I've come back from Hong Kong, so I've been jet lagged and going to bed a bit earlier. So like at some point this week, I was like, should I just message Sam and be like, actually, you know what? 10 p.m. Eastern works perfect for me. I reckon I can be up at 3 a.m.
One of the questions I wanted to ask you, and this is like not on any of the agendas or anything, but like when you travel to these places, do you ever like set a day aside to like get ready for the jet lag, or do you just go in jet lagged and you're just like, I guess we're doing it? Like,
So
do you actually have a plan, or?
So I used to just like go in and be like, because I finished my degree in July or June this year, and while I was still doing my degree and then traveling tournaments, I used to like be like, well, really, I shouldn't be going at all. Definitely can't go a day early because I've like all these like classes and stuff that they'll notice if I'm gone from. So I was like, we're just running it, however, whatever happens. But since I've finished my degree, like I've not got a job. I'm ostensibly just fab full time, whatever that means for me. But I've started trying to go a day early, and it's been like night and day.
That's awesome.
Because when I was arriving on Friday, it's like you just have you just have to be ready. Whereas it's like the fact you can like sack a day where you're like, I'll like wake up at 9 and feel destroyed the first day, but then I'll be tired enough Friday night now.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's been so much better.
That's awesome. I dream of a day when I can play Flesh and Blood full time, but I actually have to top 8 events or win events, unlike you're top 8ing and like doing things left and right. I swear, every time I open something up, I'm like, oh, there's Jacob's name. Like you've just become this name I expect to see. There was an event that I can't remember which one it was, but you didn't top 8. You finished like 10th or 11th or something. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, what happened? I was like, is he okay? Like,
it's probably cool in Seattle. I mean, I get to like 3 o'clock on Sunday, and I'm like, what do you mean I'm not playing anymore? I'm just sat here. I like look in my bag, and someone's giving me like a box of cards to get signed. I'm like, what? I can just do this now?
Oh man, welcome to my life.
I was like, Jacob, we have very different issues at tournaments. I can tell already.
Yeah, sometimes we arrive on Sunday and they tell us we can't play at all. So
exactly.
They're like, you want to sign up for the battle? Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, it's so funny because I've seen Brody manage to have the opposite problem, where he'll show up every Sunday and be like, fuck, I gotta unsign up from the Battle Hardened.
Oh.
And I'm just like, why? I don't even bring a Sage deck at the moment.
That's my goat right there.
When you're like, I don't need that.
I strive to have that much confidence in in my ability to play in the main event that I don't bring a different deck for the Battle Hardened. I'm gonna make that a new personal 2026 goal for myself.
I get like asked what I think's good.
Really don't want to do Sage.
I get asked what I think's good in Sage, and I'm like, I don't know. I think there's a good Bravo list, but I've not worked it out. And I don't. They're like, what do you mean not worked it out? I'm like, I haven't brought it with me. At one point, I got given by a friend who doesn't play Fab, but they were at some kind of like gaming expo, and they got given like a Bravo Flash Ring whatever like true starter deck, like just for free. They're handing them out. And he like gave it to me as like a joke, being like, might want to get into this game. And I looked at it and I was like, no idea what's in this, but this might be a Sage deck. And like was carrying that around for a bit, where I was like, at minimum, this is the hero.
Oh my God.
If I had to try and build a Sage deck on Saturday evening.
I really hope that like one Sunday afternoon I'm looking at Battle Hardened results and I just see Bravo flattering Showman and your name in top 8 because I'm gonna be like, that's the demo deck. He didn't even change it. That's the same demo deck his friend gave him, and he still made top 8.
Yeah. I had a look at it. I think it's got all the wrong colors of the cards. It's like
yeah,
there's like 4 block. There's like block 4 make a seismic. It's got the blue of it, and I'm like, I mean, it's something. I don't think that's what you want, but
oh, that's too good. That is too good.
So, welcome back to episode 20 of Breakpoint Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor. These are my co-hosts, Sam and Zach. And today's special guest is Jacob. If you've ever turned on any top 8 stream, you know who he is. Simple as that. Like, let's just like get it in there. No, it's easy. How's everyone's weekend fab going?
Just
jump in.
Sam, go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
Yes. I'll let it rip. This week in Fab, I actually went to a Sage Armory. We all agreed on a little bit of an armistice, and no one played Chain.
Nice.
So we all had a decent time. I was going to go to CC Armory, but they got moved to an inconvenient time. In fact, it's starting in about an hour.
All right. So,
yeah. The one that would normally have been on Christmas. Oh, yeah. It's not nearly as good as Taylor last week for fitting the first round of his Win-A-Box tournament to be here, but...
Do you know who won it, though?
I know you won it.
Did you really win it?
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
Dude, let's go.
I showed up like 45 minutes late, and then I went undefeated for the rest of the day on Marlin.
Nice, that's awesome, dude.
Boom.
That's awesome.
But you, Zach, how's your week?
My week has been basically 0 flesh and blood. I went to my in-laws for Christmas, and so we've been gone since like just this past Tuesday. And I've been working on my Victor guide a little bit while I've been gone, trying to get that ready for RTN season and stuff like that. But other than that, it's just been playing board games and hanging out. No flesh and blood. It's been a weird week to say the least. Taylor, how about you? Other than 0-1 into winning a case, apparently.
Okay, actually, I did not go 0-1. That's a part of the story. I showed up and they were like, "We have an odd number, so we gave you the buy." And like the guys, they were like, "You gave him the buy? You gave that guy the buy?
Shot.
This is absolutely
no shot. I'd have gave the TO
like,
20 extra bucks to make sure you got the loss and somebody else got a buy."
It's like this is worse. And then I decided to. Then I went undefeated, beat some KOs. I think I don't even remember. I beat some decks with Marlin, and it was a good time. Then opened up my boxes, and they were absolute dog water.
Nice. Classic.
Jacob, how about you? What have you been doing for the last couple of days?
So I'm similar to ZacK, right?
Yeah,
Zach,
that's me.
Just want to check. Because you've not got your name on the.
Oh yeah, that's right. They
so
always put Aggro Blaze up there. I always forget.
Yeah.
People may not know my real name.
It's good. But I've been on similar to you, Flesh and Blood hiatus, and I got to yesterday and was like, this just feels so wrong. So on Boxing Day, which I've heard maybe isn't as much of a thing for you guys in the US.
I learned about
Boxing
this
Day.
last year. What that is.
But I like had enough Flesh and Blood withdrawal that I was like, I'm in my room, no one bother me. I'm playing Flesh and Blood, and I played my first like serious Sage set because there was some Sage claims, and I was like, Chain, everything I've been hearing about Chain, he can beat this. And so I got to play some Sage Chain into some willing victims who thought they were going to beat him. I had to show them the power. I was like, you play your cards for free? There's no way he's not the best. I got to do the thing where you ebb and fold and draw out of your shackle stack. Playing Kashi. I'm like, okay, we go draw the right card out of this. Kashi's like, I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'm not waiting for you to try and remember what your 6 shackles are about to hit. And then he's like, actually, he's like, Jacob, just see what a duel is and draw the one you want. Like, we know that if you get it wrong, you're gonna say you would have known in a tournament and then go back. Just save us the time.
Oh, that's amazing. I know so many people who say things like that. I feel like I'm guilty of saying that when I'm streaming. I'm like, oh, I'm talking to chat and I'm doing this. And it's like, no, I'm just bad. Like, I didn't know what that card was. Come on.
Well, we also got to about game 3 of this, and Michael was watching. Is like there's like 2 cards in my pitch, and he's like, okay, so you got to work out like which of these you're going to draw and which of these you're going to check out. I just click one back, and he's like, are you not going to work it out? And I'm like, sure, it'll be fine.
Figure it out.
And he's like, what?
I'll let future me worry about it.
He's like, surely you would do this in a tournament. I'm like, this is my I played 0 games of Sage Chain before this. Like, I just want to like see what happens. Click some cards.
I love that so much. Yes.
That's how I play day to day, man. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, real quick before we get into the proper part of this, if you want to keep track of what everyone's getting up to in Sage, we got the website for you.
Shit.
And
shit, he said. Taylor's face made me realize I'm not the only one that hit weird coming from Sam.
And I was like, okay.
Sam doesn't cuss. That's not your role on the podcast. Sam, easy there, big guy.
Stay in your lane, buddy.
We're getting a little spice, you know. I gotta keep people interested.
Editor,
Yeah.
cut that bit out. And guys, if you wanna have a keep up to date with what's going on in all the Flesh and Bloods, then we got the product for you, Fab Blazing.
It's so easy, dude.
Actually, found our fourth.
Actually, I do have a question. Sam always says Fab Blazing. Is it Fab Blazing or Fab Blazing? Because like this whole time I thought it was Fab Blazing, but he kept calling it Fab Blazing, and he's never said anything.
Is it one B or 2 B's in the word?
It's 1B, but I'm like,
1B.
I've always thought that they always like kind of like make it like a little play on words.
Yeah.
Fab Blazing just sounds stupid. Okay,
what if editor?
Put that out. Put an editor on that one, actually.
Not our sponsor watching this episode being like, oh man.
Well, Taylor, we better hope that me and you are right. Otherwise, we've just roasted the sponsor.
In the middle of the sponsor, I'm DMing him. So just know everything's going to be okay by the end of the sponsor. Because if it is Fab Blazing, it stays into the podcast. If he goes, it's Fab Blazing, people are never going to see this part. So it's okay. How do you pronounce your name? Anyway, so yeah, so that's our sponsor, Fab Blazing or Fab Blazing. I'll edit whichever one's correct.
And our other evergreen sponsor is the wonderful Codex Journals. Get your own Breakpoints journal down in the description. It's awesome for keeping track of what you're experiencing at your tournament. If you feel like you're favored in matchups, what your game plans are, it's a good job or a good tool to keep track of everything.
I like it.
With that out of the way, though. See, I feel like I've played against Jacob in a tournament before. If anyone is not going to use a Codex journal, I feel like it's Jacob. Because you rock up, you're like, I got puka shells to keep track of my tunic counter.
I recently, Thomas from Codex Journals reached out to me and sent me a Codex journal and said a bunch of nice things to me and whatnot. So I've been using one at my last couple tournaments. And it's been a weird feeling having a life pad. It's like one less thing that I can't show up the day of the tournament in like a chaotic mess without having sorted.
I'm just imagining that Jacob and Taylor play, and Jacob's like filling it out, and he's like, "Is this matchup favored?" And like takes one look at Taylor, and he's like, "Yes," and just keeps going.
Is this matchup favored?
That's my favorite thing.
The hero or the man? Like, was it in poker? Like, don't play the cards, play the man.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find this clip and send it to Thomas so he can have like a. Are you favored against your player or are you favored against the hero section? I love that.
It's like, great little addition. Who's favored? Your hero or your deck or their deck? Who's favored? You or them?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Dude, I think. Kind of favorite, really favorite in person. I'd start seeing me sweat. It's like, oh god, dude. Oh no. He's got my number.
Every time someone flipped out a Codex journal against me, if it had that, I would sit there and be like, what are you writing down in that section, pal? Like 100% would have to know.
The little notes beside you, like, oh,
yeah,
washed.
no, I mean, I'm imagining my opponent being like, I've watched your streams. Yeah, I'm favored. Like, that's what I'm imagining.
Check out this remembrance. It's like, oh, you got me, dude.
Oh, God, it hurts.
Well, we didn't cover it too crazy last week, but news has come out, and I feel like everybody's talked about the BNR that's happened. We finally have like a tournament to kind of base it off of, and all these different things that happened. If you don't know, and you're completely unaware of what's going on in Fab, they banned all colors of Rootbound, the yellow and blue versions of Orbweaver, Wrath of Retribution, all colors of Brainless Cinderclaw, and Chart from Gravy. And Hong Kong happened, and Verdance wins the whole thing anyway. Do we think that these bans actually accomplished what they were looking for to shaking up the meta, or is it it just kind of brought down the ceiling on these decks a little bit, or the overall power level, I guess, and not actually made a huge change with what's happening in the meta?
We should probably let the person who actually wins events and top 8s events go first, so Jacob can talk, and then we can be like, "Oh yes, that's what we were thinking." Also, like,
it's like, what are you putting on your homework there? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, amazing.
Well, it was because I went to Hong Kong, obviously, and so I was like at Seattle, and like around round 4 of day 2, there's like this like going around the room, everyone on their phone seeing the bans, and I was playing Mario in Seattle, and before we knew what the bans were, we were like, yeah, they'll Mario already feeling great. They'll ban a bunch of cards from the good decks. He'll be even better. Mario at Hong Kong, it'll be great. And then we look, and we're like, blue and yellow Orbweaver. What? We're like reading the rationale. They're like, yes, we really think Mario's gonna rise up, and we're like, bitch, we just didn't make the Mario deck good. Like,
oh my god, that one's
like Valencia's got 50% top rate. We're like hanging out, and like we're all because really it's Emma Takashi who's masterminded the Mario deck, the list that I've been playing at like Worlds and Valencia and stuff. But it was like felt like it's like all the he was like the like godfather of all the Marios. It's like me and Brody were playing Mario, like come up to him after a round to like talk to him, and he'd be like talking to like another one of the Marios. He'd be like, "Oh, that's just Bartosz. He's also in the Mario Cabal." Yeah. And we're like, "Wait, just because we worked out how to make the deck good finally, you didn't ban it from us." So we're like, "Fuck, gotta pivot," and we're like looking at all the hits, and we were like, actually, to be fair, they've done a pretty good job just like tapping down the like ceiling or the like keeping all the decks viable, but just making space. Like I don't like Kasai would not have had the chance to have the like conversion and representation she did if everything had still been full power. But we made them, and I also do think the top decks, the previous top decks, Gravy, Verdance, and Syndra, are also gonna like keep being on a downward, and that we had a joke that there were going to be, we were like, are we still expecting Syndras? And I said, there'll still be the 9 to 5 Syndras. And Justin said, what's the 9 to 5 Syndra? And I said, it's someone with a 9 to 5 who's already locked Syndra.
That's so real, though. That's so real.
Isn't that right, Zach? Isn't that right? Don't you work a 9 to 5?
I do work a 9 to 5. And listen, while there will still be people playing Syndra, I am fully convinced Syndra's not dead. And this is another one of those weird heals I'm willing to die on. I don't think she's going to dominate the meta like she did previously, but I still think Syndra has a solid chance to be represented and do well in these tournaments, like 100%.
Yeah, like the joke that you just play tag the target and you're just the same. It's like obviously it's not the same, but it still be. I mean, at the end of the day, Syndra still be Syndra.
Yeah.
Flicking your dagger every turn is just so good. It's hard to like. Syndra's the weirdest wanting to go long deck you'll ever meet, because she's like, I want the game to go as many turns as possible. What do I do to achieve that? Nothing. I keep all 4 of my cards every turn to attack with them. But conceptually, I would love it if the game went longer. So as long as there are decks that are like wanting to block, she's just like so good in those matchups. And then Mask Momentum gives her a lot of equity in matchups that don't want to block. So she's like, my one weakness is people who are exactly neutral between blocking and keeping their cards.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And there are quite a few decks who do a good job of balancing the blocking plus like attacking aspect. You know, like I think Mario fits into that range pretty well with like good disruption to keep Syndra backpedaling. So I mean, I don't know. I'm actually very curious. I'm really curious to see what percentage of RTN she wins. Because I know that like how she does during Road to National season is not like the end all be all of what we can expect to see in the Yokohama. You know, we have a set coming up and there's heroes being banned and all that kind of stuff with Silver Age. But how she performs at RTN season, I think will show me more of how many people still have faith in her than as opposed to like how actually good she is. I don't know. Maybe I'm living in like complete cope world over here though.
What you said in your stream about the representation being very like determining of what we see is so true, because like the Mario deck that's been doing well recently with 9 spinnerets, that deck's been legal for like months, but people just weren't really on the right, like weren't bringing it, and so it wasn't putting up numbers. And this happens all the time. I think Syndra's still a good deck, but her natural predators of like Kasai and Mario might be on top of the meta. So it's like her card, like, you know, her deck isn't the problem. It just might not be the meta for her, but she's gonna be ready for if it ever shifts in a way where the top decks don't just spray on her. But what I says was, I think we fell victim to this. Like, as much as I joke about the 9-5 Syndra, we're like looking at what to play, and we make a matchup matrix, and we like show up on the Thursday to hang out and like play some games with some people, and we're like on Gravy, and they're like, "Why are you on Gravy?" And we're like, "Oh, we made a matchup matrix," and they're like, "Oh yeah," and we're like, "Gravy was the worst deck according to the matchup matrix." And they're like, these things don't really follow. And we're like, yeah, we don't really know what happened either, but it's this thing with Brody. It's like we just like somehow we made the matchup matrix, and then we noticed that Gravy was the worst deck, and then we decided to play him anyway. Sort of a collective psychosis.
Amazing. It's so great. I love that. People are gonna love that. Everybody who sits around and is like, "Oh, my hero's unplayable, but I'm gonna play anyway." They're going to latch onto the fact that you top 8'd a calling, even though your matchup matrix said he was the worst hero.
We look at each other in the top 8 photo. We played the same 80 for this tournament, and we're like, "Graver's not the pick." And we're like, it's so ironic to say this. Like, stood together in the top 8 photo and just be like, "Man, this was not the pick." we like the Saturday morning or like the Friday night, I'm like pretty worried about a Kasai matchup. Brody's like, it might be fine. And then we like lose, me, him, and Justin. We like lose some. I lose twice to Kasai in this tournament. I know Justin loses at least once. Like, we're like going into the top 8 bracket, like sweating if we're going to get paired into more Kasais. We're just like, oh god, why have we brought in our matchup matrix? We said Kasai was going to be one of the best decks. Why did we bring something that's like just dead on arrival into Kasai? This was not the move. And we're like, but at least we have good matchups into OG KO and Mario, and then Brody loses to OG KO in top 8, and I lose to Mario in top 8. It's like, if you're going to bring a deck that's bad into every deck in the room except 2, make sure you don't then lose to those 2 decks in Top Cut.
That's awesome, though.
I love hearing this. I love like sitting here hearing this. As much as I'm enjoying this, I know there's going to be hundreds of people that listen to this, and they're like, "Oh, so even they thought it was a terrible pick, and they lost to the matchups they thought were good in top 8." That's hilarious. That's so good.
Yeah.
That just proves it, man. You could just win with anything. I mean, that just proves it. Give him a ham sandwich.
Any given Sunday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, dude, too good.
So, kind of coming off of the back of you top 8ing another event this year, I saw someone post this statistic earlier of you winning an absurd amount of silver medals this year, essentially, where for all intents and purposes, always the bridesmaid, never the bride at these events.
Yeah, but
I feel like it's like speaks to a testament of A, like how nuts you are at this game, and B, that it's, you know, it's not really something that kind of like stops you from competing at all when you just like go to event after event, and it's not first place, but you're like still topping all these events. Have you looked at this year and felt like this has been an incredible amount of success? Or you look back, you're like, man, every time every single finals, this one's mine. Like,
well, I did have at the end of the year, I think I posted this thing you're mentioning where I was like, I did really not, because going into Hong Kong and Seattle, I was like, really got to lock in and win an event before the end of the year, because I've not actually won anything higher than a like PQ or RCN. But really, so in Hong Kong in Hong Kong when I was like going into my semis against Mario with my finals, like probably being against the Verdants, I'm like, it's looking like so live, and then I just like as Gravy is now want to do, I don't really see enough gold makers and can just like never quite fully get into the game. But it's just there's so many like hilarious terms, like analogies for playing Gravy. He's like, you're just living paycheck to paycheck, eh? Where he's like, you keep having that thing in Gravy where you keep having functional turns, but it never like sets you up to like know you're gonna have a good turn next turn. I was like, yeah. But I was like, really, despite the like minor gripe that I didn't win anything, I just like couldn't be happier to have like kind of committed myself in this direction and have the set of results I do to like validate myself that it's like a good decision, and like be doing well enough to keep like justifying going to more events. And I don't know, it's like so much more than I ever could have imagined when I was in my like first couple of years at uni, and I'd like never top 8'd a cooling, but I'd like top 16'd a lot of coolings in a row, and I was like, just like one day I'm gonna like break through. I believe it, and so now I'm just feel like I'm so there.
Yeah, awesome. Right on the same trajectory. Just one of these, it's gonna finally, and then like once you hit that spot, who's gonna stop you? You just win everything, right?
yeah. This year I track a lot of my stats, which I enjoy just reflecting on it. And at some point this year, I went on like a crazy streak of like winning like all my win and ins in a row, and like participating in a bunch of events this year. And then at some point in it, I looked and I was like, I'm now even on win and ins at coolings, because I'd lost like 6 in a row, like 2023 and 2024, and then I like won like 5 or 6 in a row, and then I like lost some, won some, but then at some point I was like, I'm now even, and it's like such a it's a good feeling, because I was like so in the hole on these. I was like, I didn't believe I'd ever win one, let alone get even on them.
That's awesome. I love that. There are two big things that like listening to you talk about this, like really like, one, congratulations. I know that like, being on the outside looking in is like a tough feeling, and then getting into that top 8, even if you're not bringing home the trophy at the end of the day, top 8ing is still a big accomplishment. And the second the biggest thing for me is that, you made top 8, but you didn't win anything better than a ProQuest. So if you're watching at home, you too can be just like Jacob Clements, just winning ProQuests over and over again.
I was like, Michael always like whenever he won the Pro Tour, he always used to say he never won a ProQuest before he won a Pro Tour.
That's thing.
Is that real? I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Was this Hamilton or Feng, or which?
Feng.
Yeah. Well, Hamilton had a funny stat where when he topped Singapore, he was like, I've now topped every event. And then there's a pause and he goes, actually, I've never topped a skirmish. So if you've top 8'd a skirmish,
exactly.
So if you've top 8'd a skirmish because I think except for Pro Tours and skirmishes, he's like won every type of event as well. But not a skirmish.
I'm just trying to 3-0 armories.
What a good problem to have. Won everything but a skirmish. You know what? I think I'd take my 2 skirmish wins. I think I'd trade those out for like a PT or a calling. I think I'd be okay with that,
PT, unlimited cooling, and a cooling. And
yeah. Oh man, sorry. We're adding different types of callings here too? Great.
Yeah.
Great. I forgot about that. Oh my god.
When he won, like the first LL cooling happens, and he's like, shit, another one, gotta go cross this off, and then he goes and wins the first LL cooling.
Oh man, Arcane Rising sealed calling. I guess I gotta go, guys.
Oh, it's too good.
True.
Let's see.
Cricket.
It's like I was
Come
like,
on,
Sam, this
Come
is
on,
where you
Sam.
feel the silence, Sam.
It's Sam.
I know.
Editor, leave this one in.
100%, dude. Actually, sometimes I'll come in here and I'll like double like the silentness. I'll like add in like an extra 2 seconds of just us just sitting here.
Wow.
Just to like, it's like you guys make a mistake, I'm gonna amplify that mistake in editing. Okay, this is
get my hands on editor.
Never.
I'm gonna remember
that. No.
Being the editor is like
I'll
being.
cut your. Oh, it's so powerful. It's so powerful.
It's like being the person who takes the notes in a minute. It's like what your perception becomes reality.
Oh, 100%. It's fantastic.
I thought about it like that.
It's like,
it's
yeah,
so true though,
buddy.
That's terrifying.
There's
Why
times
did we give this power to Taylor, Sam? Like, why were there's no objections to start this when we started?
I can tell that some of y'all don't actually. Y'all don't listen to some of the podcasts because sometimes I'll like edit audio by like 1 second, so you'll just like slightly interrupt the guest. I'm like, oh, they're gonna hate these guys.
Wow. You ever review it and realize you were on the losing side of the argument? Just switch around who was saying what.
Yeah. Actually, I'll just cut it out. Even better. Like this never happened, and then I'll gaslight you. Then I'll gaslight you in the next episode that it never happened, and you go back and it's gone, and you're like, oh my god. This argument never happened. We never talked about this. That was such a clean cut. Oh my god.
You should have all your agreements about who's going to do what work in the future on the pod as well, so you can invoke this for that. You're like, you said you were going to pick up the t-shirt.
See? Oh man. Okay. That does remind me of that one time I did mess up the audio track for Aaron and Aaron's episode, and it was like 3 seconds longer than everyone else's. So anytime someone asked him a question, he would just mid-sentence interrupt them and start talking over them, and it was absolutely great. It was great because like I had a message like, "Dude, this Aaron guy's a complete dick. He just keeps cutting you guys off." And I was like, "Was he? I don't remember that."
I still think we should have left that episode up for everybody to watch. Like it was too funny.
You back and watch the podcast, you're like, that bastard, he did.
Dude, oh my god. What? He didn't even let me get the last word out anytime, ever.
Oh, man. All right. Well, bringing it back to on track, I guess. So, I feel like as players, a lot of times we can look back to like a year or two in the past and be like, all right, these are the things that I used to do that I'm just like way better at now. I can track my pitch stack and my opponent's pitch stack now, or some other like skill inside the game. Jacob, you've gone from, like you said, not ever topping a calling to topping like every calling you go to almost now. Is there like a specific like skill or a couple of skills or even like a moment that you point to that's like, all right, this is where it clicked?
It's interesting because I like when I was in my top 16 era, so to speak, I was talking to one of my friends from uni who doesn't play a lot of Fab, but was like, surely like they're like a very smart person. They was doing a degree in economics and very like mathsy person, and they're like, there's no way like the like win rate that you have to be like consistently having a win in and then losing it can be that different to if you were winning the win and ins. So surely you just have to like keep slugging it and eventually it'll break your way. And I was like, that like really doesn't resonate. Like I feel like I'm punting like I do keep making mistakes. I can always identify things in my games that I lost that like I could have won if I'd done better. And I'm like, I don't know like how to tap into this extra performance, but I feel like it is within me. And so when I like as I've started to hit this consistency, I feel like there's a sort of like mindset thing of like believing all your games are winnable and that you just have to identify the error and be able to learn from it. And then there's also like once you do it once or twice, you don't have like quite the same aspect of like nerves or like whatever psyching you out and like causing you to like maybe make some of these mistakes. And so it's a bit less solid than like a specific skill, because like I said, it's not like there was specific thing. It's just like all these like kind of like silly mistakes almost, where like I'd like, there's like one that I really, really do still just like remember and think about, where I swing, I'm like playing Kasai and like swing the first sword, and then like do the react, give it, go again. And like for some reason I'm doing this first swing first before I play the blood in our hands, and then like I play it and I have 5 coppers and I'm like +2 attack twice, go again on this sword, and then I like look at the other sword and I'm like, I thought I was going to choose attack twice for it, but I'm like, I don't have go again, so I don't need to choose attack twice. And then like I swing the first sword twice, and then I get a finish on the other sword, and they're like, you swung it at start of turn, and I'm like, that's why I needed to choose attack twice. And it's like I knew it, and then just at the moment I was playing the blood in our hands, I was like, I just like forgot it, and then like the game ends with this copper still in play, and I like lose by 1 life, and I'm just like, oh, it was just like. So I think it's almost like having the confidence or having the assuredness just to like cut out these silly mistakes, or like feeling like you can take the moment, because obviously you shouldn't be slow playing, but I actually find I like tend to be quite rushed. Like I play very fast by nature because I'm like I don't know, there's some stereotype here, like ADHD Zoomer kid who's like getting bored in his games of Bab and zoning out. But
he's got a fidget spinner whenever you're tanking. He's just
what's all these like seashells and crystals, and I started carrying around like poker chips as well, to play with. But just like, and then like I'm always like, as I think for more than a second, I used to always be like, oh, sorry, sorry, I'll just do something. And like having this sort of like, I don't know, confidence or familiarity to like take the moment and get it right. Yeah.
So something you mentioned there is that you always think about every game is winnable. Do you ever think if you told that advice to a worse player, they'd be on suicide watch after they go like 0-3 at Armory?
I
can mentally handle thinking that like sometimes I want that solace in me that like, oh, that game was completely unwinnable. Well, but now that you said that, I'm gonna start thinking like that. I'm gonna go to my Armory. I'm gonna lose like 1-3 on the night. I'm gonna be like, I just don't want to play this game anymore.
You know, yeah. I mean, I talked about this thought on Scowling's Pound of Flesh series, and I think I described it as being, you have to strike a balance between thinking this enough that you get better at the game and not thinking it so much that you go mad.
Okay, there we go. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one. I was like, I'm ending it tonight, boys.
but I think there's also some, I don't know. I mean, I did my degree in philosophy, so I've got a lot of training in how to like just keep reforming what you're saying into new sentences that are like so robust to any criticism that they're actually saying nothing at all. But if I was going to flesh this out, it would be something about like giving yourself the grace to understand that like, although every game might be winnable, you can't expect yourself to win every game, and like, I don't know, yada yada. But
I mean, like the flip side is you got to give yourself like the wherewithal to understand that you might just not have it that night. You know, everyone has an off day.
Yeah, or series of days in some people's case.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like that was aimed at all 3 of us boys. I feel like Jacob just took out the whole podcast in like 2 sentences right there. Like he even gave it like the look and like the lean. He gave it everything. Like I'm
just happy to be here.
Honestly,
okay, I'm just happy to be here.
You know what? I think Carly wants to play Arc Raiders. I'll see you guys later. I'm just kidding.
ZacK, I think you had a couple good days in London or something. I heard.
Yeah, listen. I've had like 4 good days. Like 3 or 4 good days all year. I think I won a ProQuest. I mean, I had a couple good days.
Thank God you didn't waste them on Tuesdays. Imagine you only had 4 good days, but they were all Tuesdays.
What an amazing response! Oh, it's so great.
It's like, guys, I am unbeatable today. It's like Tuesday. Like, damn it. I'll save her next year.
You have a really good day in testing. Just think of this and be like, fuck.
I wasted it. Fuck. I could have been a calling winner.
It's called Any Given Sunday.
Exactly. 100%.
Fuck, I have to get there.
I do think... I do think that your advice is really good for like new players and for experienced players. Like, you know, like I'm a good example of what you're talking about. If something doesn't break my way, like if a clash goes a bad way late in the game that's like pivotal and it's important, it is very easy for me to like mentally get down on myself. And so, like staying mentally positive and thinking, okay, like I have a shot. I need to play tight and do everything I can to win this game. I think is very important for, all of us, whether you're new, whether you've been playing for a long time. The mental aspect of card games is like massive, especially as the weekend progresses.
Yeah. Yeah, not like spiraling where like if you make a mistake or something breaks bad for you, like not kind of going until in the game or then after the game, like you lose and then you're like, I'm in a different bracket than I should be, and then you're like pair a bad matchup and you're like, I shouldn't even be here. But like managing to stay like
I feel like you're describing my weekends. Like I feel like you're describing me when I bring Guardian and I pair into. I'll lose a game I should have won, and then I pair into Gravy Bones afterwards, and I'm like, God, if I had won, my opponent's playing against Syndra right now, or something like that. Like it's exactly how it happens.
At Worlds, I played Margin, and he had his like Achilles injury, so he was on like fixed seating, and so I like look at my round pairing, and we're kind of it's like day 2 Worlds, and we're kind of on tables like 1 to like 30 maybe, and like I was like extra at the time, so I was like, like that's kind of tables I was playing, and I was like 72. Did my last round get reported right? Like scroll down, like I'm like, oh yeah, it does I have a win, and like I walk over, and he's just like in the cooling basically. There were like cooling games around him, and. He's a lovely guy. We like have a nice chat. We play our game, and like afterwards, as we're chatting, I'm like, it must be so zen. Like you don't even know what your opponent's playing against. You don't even know. Like you're not looking around, being like, like I hope we don't pair him. You're like playing like Verdance, and you see a Gravy one on the table next to you, and you're like, I'm like, maybe this is the key. Maybe I'd win more coolings if I broke my ankle more often.
I say that all the time. Like,
and then I'm like, I wonder how that just like show up, and you're like legs in a cast, and you're like, Judge, I gotta be honest with you, I did this to get fixed seating, but like my leg is broken, so you still are gonna give it to me, right?
Yeah, it's like you still have to put me somewhere. You still have to do
put
this.
me somewhere. Judge is like,
Sam, I need you on Friday. Just do it.
We have a new Friday night ritual. It sounds like, boys.
all 3 of the Breakpoint guys come in with broken legs.
Oh. Early on Friday, I'm gonna scout out a nice set of rocks for us. Don't worry.
Please don't tear the tendon. Just go for the bone, please. The
key now is that you all have to agree that you'd want it to be a surprise, and so it's like that Superstores bit. We're just promising that at an unspecified future date, you will injure each other.
Amazing. That's so good. Sam, what are you doing here? This is my local armory. Like, what's happening? Oh, no.
I just came to visit. Yeah, don't worry.
It's like, why you got
check
that?
Your DMs. We're doing the live podcast.
Why have you got a wrench? A lot of stuff needs fixing around here, if you know what I mean. Fixing? Well, you got to break it first.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be so scared now.
Oh my god, that's incredible. All right. So, I always notice, because I see all your decks, you're always top 8 in all these events. You always bring, first off, you bring like a different deck every tournament, which is like wild.
Yeah.
Like one day you're on Gravy, the next weekend I see you on Acilio, the next it's back to Mario. It's just like a constant rotation. Is it like, do you have some level of decision paralysis in your deck? Like, this deck feels really hot right now, I want to do this. Or, this deck just like beat me at the calling, and I want to do this to everybody.
So, I mean, going back to the thought that all your games are winnable, there's like a lot of caveats to this. And it's like, one of them is that a belief, like the way I like believe this to be the case, it's like on a really broad view of winnable, where it includes like having made a better deck pick for the event. Because sometimes you'll sit down and you'll play your like Olden Prison game, and you'll be like, yeah, that wasn't winnable at the point I sat down. But really, at this tournament, I should have been playing Briar maybe, and then this game would have been winnable. And this is also where it starts to be like, it sounds a bit copy if you apply this to be like complaining that you should have won in some ways. So it's like you got to apply it in the right way. But yeah, I think hero choice is really important. And also there's a great I love reading old Magic theory articles, and then thinking about how they apply
those are actually so good
to Flesh and Blood. And there's a great one that my teammate Simon Nielsen wrote, called All Your Invalid Excuses. And it's like beating people, it's like telling people off for playing pet decks instead of the meta deck. And it's like the 9 things people tell themselves to play their pet deck and why you should just play the meta deck. And he starts the article by being like, this is entirely written as if your only goal is to win Magic the Gathering tournaments. And it's like, and I want you to know, if your goal is not to win Magic the Gathering tournaments, that's okay, that's cool. You just need to be honest with yourself and like accept your losing win rate because of it. And it sounded weird because you're like, well, of course my goal is to win Magic the Gathering tournaments or Flesh and Blood tournaments. But then like he kind of explains where he's like, look, you may not realize it, but your like real goal might be to be the best performing person. Like maybe you would just be happier coming like 27th as Dio, but like being the only Dio in top 64, and everyone being like, wow, he's so good at Dio, rather than like winning the cooling on like the top meta deck and just being like, but he was like one of 4 gravies in top 8. And yeah, he won, but whatever. And like that's how a lot of people like feel. And like if that's, and then also there's like not everyone like has the time to like try and learn all these different decks or like wants to learn all these different decks. There's just like one aspect of Flesh and Blood's like very asymmetric gameplay that speaks to them. But I read this and was like, I'm here to win. I know what I must do. And so I try and like in testing, like never have the mindset that I can't play a deck for testing reasons, because my goal is to know how all the decks work, because it's like gives you an advantage when you play against them anyway, and then it gives you the ability to switch. And with like when I played Acilio at Singapore, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be the best at Acilio, but like playing a tournament on like another hero that I've not played before will give me like perspective going forwards. And like, so yeah, I try and really, really reflect on like what the best hero choice would be, with no sort of like attachment to comfort or like familiarity, because I think it's what the like best fab player would do, and that's what I'm trying to be.
Do you have like a pet deck or something that you do go to like on Armory night? Like you're like, I want to play this deck because it's just fun.
They LL'd all my pet decks. I loved Oldham and Icelander.
Fatigue Bessie.
I used and even new. The decks that I really loved playing were all before I decided to just be the best fab player. And now I'm like, I think it's like kind of cyclical, where all my pet decks LLing made me more want to go for this. And now that I'm going for this, I don't form as many pet decks. Though I did play Acilio at Singapore, and I was like, this guy's kind of goated.
Yeah, he's really fun.
He's really fun, yeah. And but also, I think I've been on the good end of the variance trail with Acilio. Like, we got to the end of the weekend at Acilio, and someone was like, Jacob, I'm curious, like, what happened in the games where you didn't draw God in a Flash? And I'm like, some of my games I drew too many God in a Flashes. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh, well, I played against Mario where I have one of my opening, I go first, have one of my opening hand, Arsenal, draw, oh no, I have 2 of my opening hand, Volzar went away, Arsenal 1, and then draw the 3rd, and I'm like, kind of how, can't be letting Leave No Witnesses hit. And they're like, what do you mean can't be letting Leave No Witnesses hit? Like, surely you never try and get your Gon banished. And I'm like, well, in Swiss I played a Mario, and I'd only seen 2 Gons by turn 3, so when they Leave No Witness to me, I just figured I'd draw the 3rd one and let it hit. And they're like, that wasn't good thinking. And I'm like, no, really block. I would have had to shove all 4 armor, and I just figured, like, the way I've been drawing, I've been seeing all my Gons every game. And they're like, this can't be true. And I'm like, yeah.
Judge,
true.
That's
true. What?
I'm like, just no, it's fine. They're the only rainbow foils in the deck, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So you mentioned at the beginning of this little topic change we did that you like reading Magic articles and like correlating them to Fab, and I don't know if this is like something that like everyone does, but I had friends who played Magic and I didn't play it at all. And when we started playing Fab, they're like, you should read these articles because it kind of it gives you a better understanding of the concept of card games. Like one of the very first ones I read was about just understanding your role in a matchup. Are you the beatdown or are you trying to survive the beatdown?
Yeah.
And knowing that role, when I read it in heavy meta, I was like, this is mind blowing. I'm playing Victor. This is perfect. I like it describes like every matchup for
Yeah.
me. So like if anyone hasn't done that before, I would really implore you to do that sometimes because they may be like, I think that article was like 20 years old or something, and it still has like so much relevance to like understanding how you play the game today. It's really sick.
The article came out in like
I
the
just wanted to
early
share that. It's
2000s,
awesome.
and I feel like for almost any card game, that Who's the Beatdown should be like the starter kit article you read when you are looking to get competitive. I remember reading that when I played Magic, and somebody like pushed me to read that and like Patrick Chapin's book and some different things like that. And it just like it takes you to like, I don't know, you just get these different understandings of card games in general because you can apply them to probably about any card game, I would guess.
Yeah, or beyond. Like there's just those was the golden age of Magic where they just created some of the best like conceptual like game theory work basically.
Yeah, Next Level Deck Building and Next Level Magic by Patrick Chapin is like a goated 2-book series that I like to read every couple of
Amazing.
years.
Great books.
I used to play yeah. The Innovator, dude. Oh my god, he should get into Fab. I'll shoot him a DM and see what we do. Hey buddy, what are you doing nowadays?
Cool. So continuing on like deck selection, you bring a lot of what I would describe as like extremely well-tuned decks. Normally, like I pull up, it's like not sideboarded, but it's like very easy to see like what packages kind of come in and out for most of these decks. Are you building most of these decks, or is it like a team effort?
It's definitely a team effort. I used to joke, I think I've gotten better, but there was definitely a period where I joked that it's like I kind of like F1 and I used to joke I'm like the driver. I'm like, I'll take the deck and I'll really perform with it. But like I wouldn't know what's in the engine. Like all thumbs when it comes to that. Where like I just like felt like because I played a bit of Magic, but not really competitively. And so like a lot of the people I worked with and like knew in the UK community when I was starting out were like had played like other card games for a long time, and there was this like general wisdom that the way to get good at card games is just to have a lot of experience, and it gives you like an intuition for like ratios and deck building. And I didn't have any of that, so I was like, yeah, just give me the list, and I'll apparently I can work out how to play it, but can work out how to build it. But I feel like I've gotten better over time, and I work with my team Armory to get lists, and I just my process is like early on, especially when I'm switching decks, I like try and latch on to like a hero specialist who is willing to talk to me and tell me a bunch of stuff for free, and they often do because Fab's got such a goated like information community, like where we're so like I think it's correct and like a good assessment we've come to that because Fab's so like technical and like knowledge dependent in the execution, you can afford to be very open with your information and you don't give up that much edge. And then when people do make innovations, it means you're in the loop. At least this is the logic I subscribe to. And like, you know, I'm also very, very open with the people, like even if they're not formally on my team who like share with me or I talk to. And so I like try and be a sponge for the first couple of days and just get them to like be like question. And then at some point I'm like absorbed enough that I'm like, okay, I understand like why this guy likes these cards and why this guy likes these cards. I'm gonna like play some games, like testing my theories, and then I'll have my list worked out. And so like this is what happened with the Acilio deck, where I've been chatting to Marcin Hollick at Calling Valencia, and then Brody was like, I'm gonna message you two and ask him a bunch of questions as well. And also Vor. I don't know if we talked to him or if we just scraped his list and we're like, Vor's good at the game, his list will be good. But like somehow from these three sources,
fair assumption.
we were like, they seem to either be playing a lot of blasts or not playing many blasts. And then everything else, we'd like ask questions, we're like, it makes sense, like seems pretty not like obvious, but is like all kind of a consensus. And so we were like, just in like our assessment was we just have to work out whether team blast is correct or team no blast is correct. And like not no, it's just they still play the reds, but like team yellow and maybe even blue blast and team just red. And then at Singapore we played 5 total and we were like siding between 3 and 5 depending on the matchup.
Okay.
And I feel like, I mean, I've not convinced anyone else of this logic yet, so maybe it's still crazy, but I like felt like we were finished in a good place where we were like into like Syndra, where we were playing the Kappa click thinking. You don't bounce the gibberish back as much, only 3. And then into Miss People 4, just give you the chance to draw 1 without getting bricked on it. And then into like fatigue matchups, play 5, just because you really got to juice them with your high end combo turns. And I was like, deck felt good. So you two did say something funny to me where I was like, I don't like Blast. I always draw it and I don't have an embodiment, and then my deck doesn't function. And then he said, Jacob, the Blast makes the embodiment, so your deck functions. And I was like, he's so true. He's so true. Got to keep working on this Acilio guy.
Man.
I was like, but you can't execute it when you have a gun in Arsenal. And you choose like, you don't always have a gun in your Arsenal. And I'm like, another hater. He hasn't seen how I draw the cards.
He doesn't know me.
He doesn't know me. He hasn't seen my games. I'm like, guys, are we sure 3 is the right number of guns? We really only need to draw 1 per game.
So
I've not said this seriously to any Acilio player yet, because I feel like I'll get shot. And then I have to be wrong for thinking this. Because the block's 3. So it's not even that bad for multiples.
Incredible.
But in my very small sample, this has unironically been a thought, because I just always draw on. But I've also played like sub 20 games of Acilio, so
that's bananas. You have no games on Acilio. You're just like, I'm running it.
Sending
it the call.
The only Acilio game I've ever not drawn on was a mirror against Brody, in which I didn't need it because neither deck can block. So he just like died to be playing like Flitterings.
So one of the things that you talked about, Jacob, is you talk about how great the Flesh and Blood community is. And as someone who has played multiple other card games, there is a phenomenal community. Like, I would say 99% of us are just there to play games and hang out, and a lot of people don't care to share their knowledge. When you have reached out to, specialists or other people who play a lot of decks, have you known these people, or is this just like reaching out in the dark and they've still been happy to talk to you? And there's a follow-up question coming. There's a reason for this, I promise.
So, I mean, over time, it's kind of like changed where I've usually reached out to people who I knew. So I don't know, as I've like in the last year or so where I've become a bit more well known, I've gotten a bit more confidence to be like, maybe I'll just shoot my shot with these random people. But like early on, it was like people like when I started playing in the UK community, and there's a Team Toxic, which is like most Flesh and Blood teams, is more of just a like friend group than an actual team necessarily. But like had like quite a wide umbrella, and so there's like a lot of specialists in there where even if they're not like necessarily the like top person, the top performer on the deck that you would think of as being the specialist worldwide, but they're still like very good and play that guy, and I talk to them and all be in that crew. And then more recently I've started like with the Acilio thing, just like shooting my shot, being like Martin Hollick and you two and Vor, and being like, yeah, just see if they'll answer me. Because that's how I am. When people DM me things, there's like better than a coin flip chance that I'll just answer. And if I don't, it's just because I'm busy. I'm never like, they're gonna hide it anymore. So just see if they're on the same wavelength.
I bring that up and I ask that because there are so many teams and players who who have Metafies and Patreons, and I get it, like those are to help people like travel to events and to like make some money so that this seems worthwhile to a lot of people. But there are a lot of people out there who are just willing to share their knowledge like you're talking about. And so like I would say, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, first off, you've been listening for like 55 minutes, like and subscribe, follow, all those things. We'll just go ahead and get that out of the way now so that Sam doesn't have to do it later. But like on a serious note, like, you should reach out to that person. Because, I mean, more than likely, they'll talk to you. Or they'll probably tell you, hey, I'm saving this for a tournament. I'm not going to share it with you. Like, I think that's probably, like, one of the worst things that could happen. I think most of the Fab community is great, and they're very friendly and, open with a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. I just, like... Oh, sorry, you go.
No, you go. You're the important part one.
Well, I think so much of my Fab journey has just been people who like at a point where like I wasn't that known or like didn't necessarily have a lot to offer them. I just like took a chance on like helping and supporting me, and like I don't know, I'm just in such a better place for it. Like there's just so many examples where people who are like more established and known in the scene than me, and like at the time probably a better player than me, just like took the shot on me basically, and I'm just like so much better off for it, and so thankful to them. And Fab's just so good for that.
See, even the guy who's winning all the time talks about how great the community is and how he wouldn't be here without the community. Like, I mean, I don't. If there's anything that I would like clip and send to somebody to like sell you on playing Flesh and Blood, it's this moment right here. Like, honestly, game's wonderful. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox. Sam, like, keep going. Sorry, my bad.
Well, Taylor, did you want to say what?
Room for that?
I was just going to talk about Justin. Justin literally started the game, went to Purple Discord, and DM'd Levi Rauch for like 3 months straight, and then won a calling. Just straight up, just asking him a question every day. Just, hey, what do I do in this situation? What do I do? And he just won a calling because of it. And then it, that's how great the community is. Like these guys that people know, you just ping them sometimes, and they'll just reply. This is what I know. It's like, okay, thank you. Like that's awesome.
All right, so now we've come to the conclusion. Unfortunately, you're not Player of the Year. However, this year, it's anyone's ball game all over again, and there's more callings than ever. Are you gonna be going to even more callings, trying to hit every single one this year, or are you taking a little bit of a step back?
No, I'm still on the gas. I'm planning on going to every calling basically. Like, life allowing. I've already got one where I'm graduating, so I'm just gonna fly into Toulouse for the Sunday and play the showdown. And I don't know if this counts like or not, because I feel like I can still say I like went to every cooling weekend. Did you just get some clever like lawyer wording in there and it still works?
Oh my god!
Clever lawyer wording. I like that.
Does it feel at all like it's too many callings at this point, or are you like pumped that we're getting all these more callings to go to?
I'm pumped. I mean, for the game as a whole, it feels sick that there's just going to be more events, and so people can go to more events or like go to events that work better for them. Like especially, I know a lot of Europeans who are kind of like, if only we lived in a region that got as many events as America and Asia. And so the fact that we're going to get a cooling like every month, basically, except for the first. It's so funny that they're like 36 coolings in the year. And we're like, surely this means every region gets one a month. And they're like, no January European cooling. And we're like, yes, we know where we belong. You had to find space in the budget somewhere so America could have two in 1 month.
So funny. Does that mean you'll be in Columbus in January?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll be in Columbus. I mean, I'm also, like I said, I finished my degree now, so got more time for it, and I've got like lots of my extended family lives in America, so I can do nice like see them on the trips. Like got some family in Columbus, so I'm gonna go to the cooling and then see them after. And yeah, I'm excited. I got to a point last year where I felt after finishing the degree where I felt weird if I didn't have a cool like event on the weekend, because I was like, I just have too much time. And
voices in my head, and I don't want to hear them. I have to be at a calling.
And then I'm also like, and then usually if I was just free, I would message people to play games of Fab, but they're at the cooling. So, so I'm like, what am I doing?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, you win so much you don't even get to play the Sage parts of the callings yet. Are you looking forward to this being like a major part of the first start of the year here and being a part of Pro Tour Yokohama?
I love that Flesh and Blood takes swings with its majors. Like this is consistently what I said about LL at Worlds, and still feel like about LL at Worlds. The fact that all our worlds have had like weird, interesting things being tried out at them is sick, because like I'll never criticize the swing, even if it ends up a bit more of a miss than a hit, because I just want Fab to keep on taking them. I do worry a bit that we're kind of doing the LL thing again, where we introduce the new format and then we give it like no time to settle or test, and then it's immediately in a major. So I'm a bit worried about that. And then also I'm a bit worried.
It's gonna be better this time.
And then I'm also a bit worried about 20 health and like what that looks like, and like if the games are still gonna feel like basically in CC, I've consistently felt like the thing where every game is winnable. And LL didn't quite have that feeling. That was closer than a lot of the haters will tell you it is. And there was a lot of agency in deck selection and deck tuning, and I think a lot of people, like a lot of teams, I was included, like missed entire decks. So like there was still a lot of agency, but not as much as in CC. And I'm currently just trusting the LSS line that really we're just not even seeing Sage yet, and we shouldn't even count current Sage as Sage, because current Sage does sort of affirm some of these concerns from the amount I've played. But like I say, I'm just trusting LSS that Convenion's going to be good, and still happy they're taking swings. I wish we had a bit more wind up time maybe on some of these swings. Like if Yokohama, I think we could have drafted, my personal opinion, we could have drafted Super Slam at Worlds, and then Yokohama could have had LL with 3 more months in the pot, and then LA can have Sage with 3 more months in the pot, and then everything would definitely be good. And instead we're in like loosey goosey timeline. But sometimes, I'll tell you better. I'll know better than anyone. Sometimes you're in loosey goosey timeline and it all works out. Sometimes you're sat round 1 at Worlds and you're still sleeving your deck, and then you're finished sleeving and you're like, oh, that's only 79 cards. That's not ideal. Anyway, Pony, you got a life pad I can borrow? And they're like, are you gonna find your 80th card? And I'm like, yeah, just go work out what it is first. You call the judge over.
Thanks for
they're like, you have a maximum. They're like, okay, you have a maximum of 10 minutes to fix all of these problems, and then you have to start playing. And I'm like, understood. I'll just go. I just gotta go find it, pick up the point. Hopefully one of the vendors has one.
That's incredible.
My stress, like my blood pressure, whatever the hell you call it, just rose. Like listening to you tell this story, I could never imagine sitting down at something as impactful as Worlds and still trying to find my 80th card.
Well, I thought I'd been a good boy, because the night before I'd laid out the cards and been like, I have all the cards in my Fabry link, and then I'd had like a call with my friend Kathy, who unfortunately couldn't go to the tournament, but big Mario man, so he'd like walk me through, and I'd had a 79. I knew I wanted to play a 79. I was like, okay, check I had all the cards in the link, and then I called Kachi to talk to him about what the last card in the list should be, and then I went to bed, because in my mind I checked that I had the list, and then I'd decided the 80 and submitted it. But then we'd never done the step where we went back and checked we had like put the 80th card in.
Actually, all 80 cards, amazing.
Yeah. But also we didn't have a new sleeve. So then we go to the venue morning up, start sleeving it up, round one gets purple and still sleeving. I'm like, never leave enough time for these things. And then sit down, and then I realize, and then I'd been given like a box with a bunch of Mario cards by Min-Max Games. Shout out Min-Max Games. And there was an extra pick up the point in it. So when Kashi had been like, we decided it was going to be another pick up the point, I'd been like, perfect, I know I have that. But I didn't have it in the deck. But then I forgot this when this was happening. So then I'm like running around the room to the vendors trying to buy a pick up the point. And I get to Min-Max Games and I'm like, hey, do you have a pick up the point? And they're like, we already gave you all the cards you asked for. Like, we don't have any more. And I'm like, oh yeah, you did. And so I go back to the table and the judge is like, did you get it? And I'm like, in a way. And then I open my bag and pull it out.
Oh my gosh. I would like to know.
In a way.
I would like to know what the judge thought at the same time too. Like I would to be inside that judge's head at that moment would be hilarious.
Well, I was like, I would be very reasonable to like kind of like check that this is the right 80th card on my list, or deck check me at this point. Like, sure. I would have no beef. But then I guess it's also weird for them, because it's like it would just delay the round even like it would be stacking time penalties. So I was like, I'll do whatever you want to like. Because it was as I was like sorting my deck, because I'd like shuffled it a couple of times, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Like as I'm like unsorting my deck, initially I was going to do it like face down in powers, and I'm like, you know what? I've already mogged my opponent so much by doing all of this to them. And like we're already on a crunch here. We'll just sort it face up, and I'll leak my 80 to them. It seems reasonable. Seems fair enough at this point.
Amazing.
Like sort of. So it's like we're going face up into powers, and I'm like, well, like I feel like it'd be fair enough to ask to verify that this is the right 80th card, and I've not just been like, what's good into Jarl, and walked around the venue for 5 minutes thinking about what a good Jarl sideboard card would be.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, it's definitely Remembrance. I finally. That's a real
Remembrance, and actually, this Mark of the Black Widow isn't meant to be in my list. It's meant to be a second Remembrance, and actually, this AB piece not meant to be in the list. It's the third Remembrance.
Good luck, Jarl.
Good luck.
Amazing.
Oh god. All right, so we got a little bit of time here for a couple of questions that we have from the community for you. Andrew asks, how do you feel about the way Fab World Tour is set up? Do you think that there are any ways that they could improve it for, I guess, not this year, but for next year?
Well, I mean, I as someone who's been paid 15 grand by Fab World Tour, I would say no notes.
Perfect. Cinema.
You know, maybe just like, well, I don't know how you can change it. Just bonus points if you're European because you're in a harder region, and then I beat Brody, and then I get 25k. That'd be only note.
Get paid more. Let's
get
go.
paid more. Yeah, that'd be my main note. Or maybe make second. Maybe make second payout more. You know, that's a good that could be a general note for LSS. Just like really juice the payments.
I went to every calling weekend. I'm just saying LSS.
Every weekend. In all seriousness, I think Fab the World Tour is like Player of the Year or just as a whole World Tour? Is it kind of was the question?
Yeah, I think the Player of the Year race in particular.
So,
I think the addition of all these callings and everything is only beneficial so far.
So I think it like really depends on what you think like Player of the Year is trying to achieve, sort of. Because if it's meant to identify the like best player this year, then it needs to do like something to account for the fact that not everyone plays the same volume of events. Because someone who like plays 3 events but wins them all is like, that's a stronger signal of strength than someone who like, you know, goes in top 16, the top 8s, like all the coolings. And then also if you're trying to measure for player strength, really you should be doing stuff involving win rate and counting like bad finishes against people, because really it's a sign of player strength. Like that is how that works. But it's not called like the player who has the best statistical evidence in favor of their strength. That's something that a bunch of nerds will do in spreadsheets anyway and has no prize money. It's like kind of like the player of the year, which is a bit more nebulous, but sometimes when people talk about like capping the number of events that count or something, it's like, I understand that, and maybe this would be more fair if it was trying to identify the like player, the best player based on this year's results. But the like player of the year is someone who like, you know, you see consistently is like on the mind. And so in that sense, I think it's the updated points are good, because in the old system, it gave like the payout was quite flat. Like the fact that top 16ing a cooling was like half of winning a cooling, and that winning a cooling was half of winning worlds. So you could like top 16 4 coolings and get the same number of points as the world champion. Like I basically just assume player of the year is trying to make the points roughly equivalent to the like clout. And then the player of the year is the player who was the most like, you know, who had the most recognizable year. And so I think making it really top heavy, as funny as it sounds, actually does match how TCG players be handing out clout, sort of vaguely.
Yeah, okay.
Like
I like that.
Like statistically, there's not that much difference in strength between the person who comes like 9th at Worlds and someone who comes 8th. But in clout, there's a, you know, no one knows 9th unless you do it a bunch of times in a row. Tommaso and Ian. So I think it's good. I don't know. I think there's a lot of criticisms about how it could be doing a better job of measuring player strength, but I actually think as it currently is, it does a pretty good job of measuring cloudedness. And in my mind, that's what it should be doing. So,
sure. All right, I got a fun one for you to wrap it up. All right, boxing match between you and Brody. Who's winning?
Ooh. See, the problem is Brody was homeschooled, so he didn't get that. He didn't have that. He didn't have that experience. But then I just went to like posh British school with British kids where like it's like in America. Someone just said to me once. So like in America, there's like an amount of words that does actually equate to violence, like to beating someone up. So like in school, there's like sometimes the kids do beat each other up. Whereas in Britain, we just get really good at saying the most like mean and creative insults to each other, and it like never escalates. So it's like we're both going to be fish out of water in this fight. But I think Brody would want it more than me. Like I'd just be like, So happy to be here.
So it sounds like we should have like a roast, like, you know, like Jacob and Brody roast each other.
Rap
Yeah,
battle
there you
roast.
go. And like
it's over.
that sounds like that would be a much more interesting
It's
battle.
over.
When I hang out with like Americans and stuff, and it's like they're like, "You're so mean," and we're like, "These are just the things we say to our friends."
Just wait till you hear it in private, buddy.
Yeah. But I would just, like I said, I mean, when I play, I don't know if any of you played Blood in the Clock Tower with bad people.
Yes.
But I played this
Yes.
game. My problem is I just like don't want it enough. Like I woke up to someone, I'm like, "Hey, you got any info?" And they're like, "I'm not going to tell you." And I'm like, "Respectable. That makes sense. Probably aligns with your incentive structure." And I like walk away. And so I like play this game Blood in the Clock Tower once. It's like several hours, and at the end of it, they're like, the like good teams like in that corner, and they're like, "Jacob, who have you talked to all game?" And I'm like, well, you guys all seem to be doing such a good job working it out for the good team. Whenever I'd come over, you'd always like stop talking because you'd be like, "Can we trust this guy?" And I just looked like you looked like you're doing a good job, so I just thought I'd help by leaving. And so I mostly just talked to these two guys, and they're like, "Those are the two bad guys. We worked out these are the two bad guys, and we're just trying to work out who the third bad guy is." And like, surely it's you if they're the only people talk to a game. And I'm like, no, I honestly just figured you guys were doing such a great job, and I didn't want to bother anyone, so I was just in my corner with these two. And there's like a pause, and like somebody who like doesn't really know me is like, "This is the softest thing possible." And Naive's like, "No, actually, this does match how Jacob plays."
That's so funny, dude. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's incredible.
Like,
all right. That's kind of all we have for today, though. Thank you so much for joining us, Jacob. Do you have anything that you would like link at the end here for anyone who's made it this far?
My ex, Stropio with a 0 instead of one of the O's. You gotta try it both ways, maybe, because I don't know. I have a Metafy where I've started posting some stuff and been enjoying. I used to write like 2 essays a week at Oxford, and now I've not been writing as much, so I've started writing fab stuff to fill that. I don't know. Back in.
Void.
Yeah.
Side note: when you said your ex, I was I was like, dude, this is gonna go off the rails in a second. I was like, I thought this was gonna go completely different route.
Sorry.
I was
My
like,
Twitter.
whoa.
I got something to say to this lady.
I've been waiting all podcast to say this.
That's why I've been on the Breakpoints podcast. Well, I've not won any events this year. I've been saving it for my winners interview, and it's not happened. So, gotta get it out here.
Thank you so much for coming on, Jacob.
That's incredible.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, that's incredible having you on. Thank you so much.